The story you're about to enjoy is a factual tale, read to you from a fictional location. We believe.
Madam, the new kobold has left something in the main hall. I assume for you.
Oh, a gift. Is it artwork?
No,
A puppet?
not in any way.
Well, it must be something cute to show his appreciation. What is it, Mr. Darling?
It's pants, madam. Underpants.
What? Well, remove your underpants from the main hall before our guests arrive.
I do not wear sheer black underpants with tiny brooms and black kittens embroidered on them.
So you claim.
The label reads MM.
Be right back. Welcome to the Midnight Library, my dear guests. I'm your loving librarian and host, Miranda Merrick. Please take your seats and make yourselves cozy for tonight's reading. The more keenly observant among you may have noticed that although the library is a very old establishment, it is yet incredibly well kept. Well, relatively anyway. Now, there may be a little dust on the books located on the very highest shelves, but that's only because they're only unlocked from their chains and locked cases once each year, and even the ladder used to reach them is locked away itself, preventing the dusting of them, until they're needed. And even though roughly 90% of the library is off limits to you, our dear visitors, let me assure you that it, too, is as tidy as can possibly be. This is, of course, due to the diligent nature of all of us residing here, and those employed here. My point is, we run a tight ship. Even the dirt on our collections of found items is clean dirt. But you might be wondering just how we keep our vast holds of the obscure and the unknown so orderly. Well, every household can use just a little bit of help, though, right? Certain tasks that habitually need chasing on a daily basis can become irksome to the persons responsible, wearing down one's humanity just a bit. The thought of existing just to continually remove the dust and residue of everyday life, all the drifting ash and melted wax, and flying fur and sloughed-off scales and skin dander, to have this be your only endeavor to sweep it all up every day? No, thank you. Although it may be rare today, due to so many naysayers, in the olden days there was a service to be had in the field of light cleaning, as it were, by strange little beings that actually preferred to do this kind of work day in, day out, and for the meagerest of payments, too. Not that these beings dealt in monetary payments anyway, they only wanted a bit of food and clothing, and to be near you and your family, to bask in your humanly existence. But you'd better not upset them. Trust me on this. It may seem hard to believe, but the daunting work was happily undertaken by kobolds. Smallish, supernaturally born, super-industrious, impishly unpredictable little beings. They seem to have been around as long as humans have made messes. These strange creatures were first found in the historic writings of the ancient Greeks, who referred to the creatures as koboloi. They were said to be sprite-like individuals that both helped and sometimes hindered the Greek gods. They were the capricious companions of the god Dionysus, and gifted to the Queen of Lydia by Heracles. However, kobolds really got a foothold in folklore at the start of the 13th century in Germany. According to German folklore, the kobolds are one of many diminutive beings belonging to the fairy races of supernatural creatures, of which you may like to know there are literally hundreds of individual species and crossbreeds, some of which are even rumored to be related to humans. The kobolds, in particular, have had their centuries-long heritage spread across several Germanic countries, then into the United Kingdom, and perhaps even into early American settlements by way of proxy. Although in North America you may not have heard of kobolds, perhaps you have heard of Tommyknockers, which are a species of kobold. So you see how quickly it all becomes murky. It doesn't matter. They're fun, mysterious, and charming, and a bit pesky. Kobolds, no matter where they hail from, are said to range in height from just a few inches to a few feet. They are primarily portrayed as male, but it is just accepted that there are, of course, females of this fairy species. It's probably important to note something here that may surprise you, dear guests. Not all fairies have wings, and kobolds do not. These mostly helpful creatures easily fit into the look you might believe a gnome or elf would have. Short in stature, bearded with tawny skin, twinkling eyes, pointy ears, rustic clothing, and pointed hats and shoes. One feature of their anatomy you probably weren't expecting? Tails. Long, sometimes rather furry tails. A fact that we here in the library have recently become vividly reminded about. And while their cousins, the dwarves and Tommyknockers, preferred to live in caves and assist miners who worked underground, and another variety were seagoing, preferring life aboard ship, our dear household kobolds seek out and attach themselves to families and their houses. They like the warm, homey atmosphere and safety of human dwellings, and being in the midst of human company. But they are mostly invisible to the human eye. Other supernatural beings can, of course, see them easily, most of the time. Being of the fairy kind, kobolds have their own set of supernatural powers. They can not only choose to be invisible, but they can take nearly any other form they like, changing from tree to animal to human and back again, whenever they please. They are even believed to have the ability to take elemental forms, such as water or fire. I think we can all agree that this magical trait would come in handy in, well, almost any circumstance, yes? Come to think of it, this may explain the attraction felt by so many variety of beings to the Midnight Library. At the edge of the village, on this lonely stretch of land, we have and accept beings in all of their forms, both wild and tame, and everything in between. Although there have been stories of humans seeking out the kobolds to help with work on their farms and in their homes, it is widely written that it is the kobold who chooses the human family they wish to serve, and in the subtlest of manner of communication, too. The kobold, watching from afar, picks out a family they believe they could help and would be kind to them. They would then appear inside the prospective sleeping household at night and, well, dirty it up a bit. They may toss sawdust onto the floor or into the corners, or even dash a little dust into the fresh milk. This is meant to be a sign to the farmer or head of household that a kobold is about, because everyone else would have been asleep, and no one would ever throw dirt around like this. Only a kobold would. If the farmer then wishes for the kobold to stay, he sends a clear message back. by doing nothing. He simply leaves the sawdust on the floor and even drinks the dusty milk, signaling the kobold that he does indeed need the help that is being offered. Then the two beings, human and kobold, have an understanding of the mutual support system of chores being done in exchange for food and a home. Once this is accomplished, the kobold can happily get underway with his work. If the kobold, who is sometimes named by the family, feels he is well treated, provided with milk or beer and food, and is a respected entity within the household, he will graciously serve within the house, working tirelessly to complete the housework or even doing farming chores for the lifetime of the family. Kobolds have been known to grow so fond of a family that they will look after the children, even singing to them as they play or drop off to sleep. One can only imagine what dreams may come when a kobold sings you to sleep. Kobolds, when very pleased with their home life, are also reported to bestow good luck and gifts upon their kindly hosts. And even though it is said that gifts from a kobold are bedeviled in nature, this is often ignored in hopes of finding nice trinkets and sometimes gold coins. This is what can happen when it all goes well. If, however, you purposefully or inadvertently insult, slight, or harm your kobold, say, for example, one named Kaput, well then, my friend, all bets are off. Kobolds, it is said, delight in the opportunity to cause mischief, and may pull lighter pranks even when they are being treated well. They are known to hide or misplace objects, or even leave personal items out on display to embarrass their gracious hosts. Perhaps because you accidentally trapped their ridiculously long tail in a broom closet. They have been known to kick or tip people over just when they're about to bend to pick something up, or are standing on one leg to slip on a shoe. Random pinches are said to be handed out by them, and the exact opposite of what they are meant to do. Instead of cleaning, the host will find messes of the most atrocious sort for they themselves to clean up. I'm frustrated to tell you that I do not have notes on how one goes about getting rid of a kobold, although I do feel it is an effort worth researching very soon. Thank you for coming to hear tonight's story, my dear guests. Please allow Mr. Darling to escort you to the information desk, as we have enchanting depictions of kobolds for you to see. And then please do be careful on your way out of the library, my friends. We certainly do want to see most of you return. Good night. Oh, please tell me you found something on getting rid of a kobold, Mr. Darling. I'm willing to try anything.
Holyman's book, How to Train Your Hobgoblin, recommends a few options. The first is to simply move out.
My family has been in this library for more than 400 years. We won't move out.
The second option, burn down the home.
You know how my family feels about fire. Next.
The last listed option, invite in a member of the clergy, an exorcist, to have a go.
Right, I guess we're stuck with him. I'll think up a way to kiss his tiny rump.
2 more pairs of underpants in the front room, madam.
Ugh!
The Midnight Library is co-produced by Tess Feifel and Astonishing Legends Productions and is edited by Sarah Voorhees-Wendell with music and sound design by Ryan McCullough. Special thanks to Miranda Merrick and Mr. Darling. No part of the show may be reproduced in any manner without express written consent. Copyright Astonishing Legends, all rights reserved.